As we have already learned, that Martin Luther was the one who had voiced his opinions against the Orthodox Catholic Church and had pioneered the Reformation movement in Europe. But it was not only Martin Luther whose opinions changed the religious structure, but there were many others before him whose works really did not pave the way, but they had started a conversation. So one of them was John Wycliffe, who is often known as the morning star of Reformation. Now, John Wycliffe was the first one to translate the Bible and also voice his opinion against the orthodoxy of the Catholic Church. So John Wycliffe, who was also a priest, was the first one to move out of the order and decide and voice the characteristics and the changes that he saw in the Catholic Church when it was becoming really corrupt. So what the church decided to do was, it called John Wycliffe as a heretic and also exhumated his body. So here we see in the picture the exhumation of John Wycliffe. So what is exhumation? Exhumation is basically a process where the person's corpse is dug out of the place where it was buried, and then it is burnt or it is again demolished. So basically all his works, all his literary works along with the translated Bible was again burnt, and his corpse was also burnt along with it. So Martin Luther carried forward this opposition and he envisioned a change, and he was the one who brought about the change which we know today as the Reformation movement. So here you can see the two iconic pictures, one in which Martin Luther is in the Diet of Worms, where he was presented before Charles V to defend his views on Reformation. And here Martin Luther is nailing his 95 thesis on the doors of the Catholic Church as an expression of resentment, as a voice against the corruption that was going on in the church. So it was not only Martin Luther and his ideas that was restricted at that point of time. After Luther's death, as we have already learned, his ideas then were taken and it was sort of mixed with the ideas of other reformers who took this age of Reformation forward and spread the Reformation ideas in the other European countries. So let's look at the reformers and their ideas and how exactly they spread the movement. The first one is Erasmus. Now Erasmus was a Dutch Renaissance philosopher and a Catholic priest, as well as a humanist who first developed the ideas of Reformation in Holland. Now, can you tell me who spearheaded the spread of Reformation movement in Holland? Was it Erasmus, John Calvin, or John Wycliffe? That is correct. It was Erasmus. So thus we see that Erasmus was the one who stated that the practices or the ceremonies that the Orthodox Church was doing or it was imposing on people was something that Erasmus completely opposed. Therefore, he denounced all the evil practices of the Catholic Church, which also included the sale of indulgence that was primarily opposed by Martin Luther as well. So we see the opposition to the sale of indulgence, the excessive amount of exploitation by the clergy as well as the Orthodox Church that was constantly opposed by these reformers. So he was also the one who emphasized on Bible, which was, according to him, the only and the primary source of authority and not the church to state how one should live their life. He was also the one to write the book called The Praise of Folly, where he situated all of his ideas and explained it as to why he was opposing the Orthodox Church. Now we see in this map that Erasmus influenced the spread of the ideas of Reformation in England, France, and Germany. Next we come to Ulrich Zwingli. So Ulrich Zwingli was somebody who was influenced by Erasmus's work and his concepts of humanism, and he was the one who took forward the idea of Reformation in Switzerland. So Zwingli was the one who spearheaded the Reformation in Switzerland, in the city-state of Zurich, where, the Swiss Reformation began. Now, Zwingli was also somebody who constantly opposed the extravagant ceremonies as Erasmus, had done before him. So he was also condemning the idol worship and the extravagant ceremonies held by the Orthodox Church. He also stated that the Bible was the sole guide to the people and the way they should live their life. At this juncture, we see that the Reformation movement, from being a religious movement, takes on a political color when the Reformation movement goes to England and is taken up by Henry VIII. Now, Henry VIII was the then ruler of England who wanted to separate from the Roman Catholic Church. But why so? Now, we have already discussed the fact that the medieval Catholic, Orthodox Church was not only orthodox in its character, but was also dominant. So it dominated the lives of the people living in Europe, and it also, sort of controlled the life of the kings as well as the peasants. So none of the people in the hierarchy were really left out of the say of the church. So we see that this Catholic Church now has become an institution that is overbearing in nature. Why so? Why an overbearing institution? Because now it is managing the administrative factors in the political sense as well as the religious factors. So the Orthodox Church, therefore, was an overbearing institution at that point of time. Now, Henry VIII, who was the ruler of England, wanted a male heir to the throne. But why so? So, according to the Catholic Church, we see that male heir was the only legal heir to the throne at that point of time. And, Henry VIII was married to a person who could not bear him a male child. Therefore, he wanted to divorce the woman and marry someone else. But that was also regarded illegal in the eyes of the Catholic Church, for whom divorce and remarriage was, of course, illegal. Therefore, they weren't allowing Henry VIII to remarry. Thus, Henry VIII decides to break away from the Roman Catholic Church. As you can see in this very picture, that the Church of England breaks away from the Roman Catholic Church here. After which, he decided to establish an independent church, which would be called the Anglican Church. And this is, the currently accepted symbol of the Anglican Church. So he passed the Act of Supremacy in 1534 AD, which ideally made him the only head and the supreme head of this church, and established himself as the clergy and head of the Church of England. So from England, then we see that the Reformation movement moves to, again, France. So France becomes the place right now where John Calvin, who was a staunch Protestant reformer, established his sort of role in the Reformation movement. But as we have discussed that the church, was becoming a dominant factor, and it was also threatening people who were voicing their opinions against the church. So John Calvin had to flee and go to Switzerland due to the threats of the Catholic Church. We see that John Calvin, after Zwingli, popularized this idea of Reformation in Switzerland, and Geneva becomes one of the primary centers for this change. So this is the Reformation Wall in Geneva, Switzerland. Now this Reformation Wall shows the proponents of Reformation movement in Switzerland. And here we have William Farel, John Calvin, Theodore Beza, and John Knox, who spread the Reformation ideas in Switzerland, as well as spread the ideas of Calvinism. So the way Calvin ideally, held the Reformation ideas and the movements were also spread in Geneva and Switzerland. So Calvinism then ideally promoted the renouncement of all sorts of luxuries. So of course, along with the other Reformation ideas that we have seen till now, it was also added that no luxuries will be promoted in specifically Calvinism. Now the Calvinists, the followers of Calvin, are known as Huguenots in France, Presbyterians in Scotland, and Puritans in America and England. Therefore, as you can see in the map that is given on your screen, that these are the areas in which the reformers preached Reformation and its ideas, and Protestantism grew and it spread in all of these areas. As you can see, the Catholic, the Lutheran, the Calvinist, Anglican, Anabaptist, Eastern Orthodox, all these sort of categories of Christianity that arose out of the Christian Catholic Church were spread across Europe through the Reformation movement. Thus we see that this becomes the age where the ideas of Martin Luther were taken, and it was reformed, it was added with the other ideas and other outlook of Reformation, and the movement was given an impetus by the various reformers who we discussed about. Don't forget to subscribe to our channel and hit the bell icon. You can also register for free at DeltaStep.com or download the DeltaStep app to get access to all our 5,000 plus amazing videos as per your school syllabus. Master each topic with our adaptive practice technology. Get million plus questions with step-by-step solutions and unlimited mock tests. Get all your doubts resolved instantly, learn via games, and win amazing prizes like PlayStations and iPads. So at DeltaStep, learning is not just fun and easy, it is rewarding too. So register for free now.